What's going on with you, babies? It's time for Raw Talk Live. Tonight, we will talk about the passing of YouTube sensation Kevin Samuels and also touch on Roe versus Wade. So, we're interested in what you have to say tonight. Let's get it started, baby. It's time for Raw Talk Live. Hey, what's going on, babies? What's happening? What's shaking? What's popping? What's cracking? Like it? It's time for Raw Talk Live. Yay! Finally.
Hey, girlfriend.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How you doing?
Wonderful too. Let me tell you something. Peggy and I say we're wonderful. It's because there's a whole lot of shit going on, and we just have to claim wonderfulness. we just have to reach out and grab wonderfulness. It's got to be wonderful no matter what. And so I had a lot of folks to me and where you at? What's going on? Sorry, I had a family emergency that I had to handle, and it happened right at 8:30, and so I just got back, and so there's that. So here we are. We're going to get it started tonight. With our topics. Girlfriend Peggy, you are festival colorful tonight. What you got going on, girl?
I'm colorful tonight. I am colorful.
Yes, you are. You look like you just got here from the motherland.
From Zamunda.
Yeah, from Zamunda. I hear the sound of distant drums. I see women walking, throwing down rose petals in your path. And yes, because the queen has arrived.
Do you see the king coming? Do you see the king?
Close by. It's always close by. But that's wonderful. So I take it tonight you have your head wrapped with a scarf.
Huh?
I said your hair is wrapped with a scarf tonight. No, I'm wrong. Listen, here is the standard thing. Every time Peggy wraps her hair, we have to guess what it is. What's going on? It could be it could be a she even got it's something going on
in the big bun in the back. Yeah, I got some double action going on.
Ooh, wee.
I don't know what it looks like, but it's a big bun. It's a big
yes, it is.
Back there. Yeah.
Yes, it looks lovely. All right. So we have to guess what she's wrapped her head with. So I said a scarf, I was wrong. So it could be a dress, a blouse, a shirt, a pair of pants. It could be an evening dress. It could be leggings. It could be a shower curtain, a table runner. I don't know. Am I hitting on all the ones that's ever been before?
Yeah, you said one of them. You hit it on the head with one. Yeah, you named it.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So it's beautiful. Is there one piece or are there many?
I have two pieces on. I have the black leggings on that's balled up and twisted in the back like a bun. And then I took a off the shoulder long dress. Like the dress I wore to the premiere, the top with the leggings.
Yes.
It's one of those.
Oh.
With the frilly, it's got long
sleeves and
long. That's the sleeves up here. That's what you see is the sleeves up here. I just took it and kind of folded it in long, wrapped it around the back, and brought it back to the front and tied the knot. And there it was. I didn't want to put no bling or no jewels or nothing in it because I already had so much going on with the colors. And I liked the colors because the colors from the shirt actually, kind of go with the colors of this relaxing lounger I have on. So I pull
Yes.
the colors from the top to match to pull it all in. And then I saw this beautiful necklace, and it's so gaudy, but I like it. I like stuff like that. So I had to have it. I just said I'm gonna find something to wear it with, and I think this was just good enough just to pop it with some more color.
Yes,
Color,
yes,
color,
that's
color, color,
beautiful.
color, color tonight.
Yes, yes, I see you live and in living color. Well, it's absolutely beautiful, lovely. Jane
Thank
is in the
you.
virtual building with us tonight. Welcome, Raw Talker Jane. Welcome, Raw Talker Tiki Films.
Yes.
She was like, it's a shower curtain. No, this
No,
time
no,
it's a
it's a
blouse.
top. It's a long sleeve, long in the back, short in the front, long. Like I said, long sleeves hanging, dragging. It's a top.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
a long, and it's one of those. It's
Long.
sheer.
Yeah, it's sheer and don't have no stretch to it either. No scratch,
Mm-mm.
no give. Usually I like things that's pliable, that's stretchy, that give, but this seemed to work just right with the wrapping of my head. I could, wrap it
Yes.
at the back the way I twisted it and brought it back to the front and tied it. And it was enough, like I say, up here to kind of do a little, have something going on up here.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you just
like I
you
said,
never know, but you sure do get it done. I know that.
I
So there
couldn't
you
do it
go.
twice. Probably couldn't get it back this way if they paid me to. You just have to, it's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just how it falls when it's happening. You just gotta let it flow.
Hmm.
You just gotta
Right.
let it flow. And that's a good
Yeah.
thing. That's good. And
And your
so
hair look extremely beautiful tonight.
oh, thank you so much.
And
You know,
curly, all fabulous and curly, curly, curly.
yeah, sometimes it works for me. Sometimes I can get it right. So thank you.
You're welcome,
Thank
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So tonight, two touchy subjects. One, the passing of YouTube sensation Kevin Samuels, and then the other one, the situation with Roe versus Wade. So that Roe v. Wade, there's some parts of I that I don't understand. Um, I don't know why it needs to be reversed. I don't know who came up with that, and I still don't know what the philosophy is behind it. Um,
Right.
do you?
I think they felt they really shouldn't have had their hands in that to begin with. And now that 50 years has passed, they want to kind of put it back into the hands of states to make their decisions. And they kind of like, we don't want to have no say in that. Y'all, each state decide for yourself what you're going to do. Because, some states out, Michigan is still, I think, a no abortion state.
Yeah,
And so if you want to, you can't have an abortion unless it's on the special terms or something. Otherwise, you got to go out of the state to have an abortion, and so they're gonna give each state the right to have that decision, the right to choose.
yeah. Well, even if you have to travel for it, uh, you, I would rather see you travel for it than to not have the option at all.
But the
Uh,
thing of it is, if it's
that's a
already
hardship.
yeah, if it's already a hardship for you to bring a baby in this world, now to like I said to you to have to buy a plane ticket, and somebody most likely gonna have to accommodate you. Now for you and a best friend, or you and your mom, or you and whoever's gonna go with you. Now you got to go out of state. Now you got to pay for hotel if you don't have friends and family in the area. Now you got a whole
Right,
lot of expenses that you got to incur on top of the expenses of having the procedure done, and it's putting you into a whole lot more hardship. But the
right.
moral of the story is take your birth control pills, ladies. Take the day after, take the necessary, use condoms, safe sex, no sex, abstain from sex, do whatever you got to do not to bring these babies here until it's time, until you're ready.
Yeah. And it's so much easier said than done. So
Yes, it
much easier
is.
said than
It
done.
is. It
I
is.
I had the pleasure of hosting for my friend from Tiki Films, and on Sunday, and it was a Mother's Day celebration event,
Right.
and I met a young lady there who told me. She said she has an 18-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I said, "Oops," like, "Oops, what happened?" She said, "Because all of her children are grown, and then here comes this, way behind
8 year.
baby." And she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Girl," she said, "listen," she said, "I was on birth control." She said, "He was supposed to pull out." She said, "I took the morning after pill when I found out he didn't." Um, she still got,
Nothing
and so
stops it.
we know that there's a percentage of people who are going to get pregnant even with birth control. It is not 100% fail proof, so you need to take birth control, then you need to use a spermicide, then you need to use a condom because you're supposed to be using a condom anyway. Okay. And so those are all of the precautions that you have to take to try and make sure that you don't get pregnant.
And even on tied tubes, you can still get pregnant and bring children into the world. Because I have
Yes.
a cousin who tied her tubes and she still had 2 or 3 children after that. So that's not even 100%.
No. No, but people tie them so that they have the option of reversing them. I
Yeah, but
didn't
this
tie
was,
mine. I didn't
well, I
tie mine.
tied, clipped, and burnt and did everything that they could
That's
do
what
to
I
them.
did. I
That's what
said,
I
y'all
told them
better
to do
put
with
some
mine.
gorilla glue at the end of them things, some super glue, whatever. That's right. Cut it, take a piece out, burn the ends, glue it off, then tie it off. What?
Cut,
I said,
snip,
because I
tip.
don't
I
care
don't
what
care.
paper,
Right.
I don't care what I signed. I don't care what I signed. If I get pregnant, I'm gonna own Winter Park Hospital. They're gonna rename the hospital.
And then again, you have women that's getting caught up in the change of life. They are
Yes.
tittle-tattling right on that borderline of menstrual cycle stopping and it's still on, and it's not only coming on once a year, and they think it's gone, and they can't get pregnant because they're not seeing a period, and then bam, here you go. What the heck?
What the heck?
What? Yeah, I
It's
have an
serious
aunt. She
business.
had like 4 or 5 grown children in their 20s and 30s, and she turned around and got caught up in the change of life, and she ended up having a little baby all over again.
Oh, she had the baby.
And she
God
had the
bless her.
baby. And he grown right now. Big strapping, strong little young man in college. Yeah.
See, that's a good thing. But yeah, you're right. Because I have another friend who was in menopause. Okay, had not seen her cycle for 5 years.
Wow.
And
Oh
then
my
she
God.
got married and started having sex on a regular basis, and her cycle came back.
Mm,
She didn't get pregnant, but I'm just saying that's just how delicate women's bodies are. Hi,
right.
yes, Shirley is in the house. Welcome, Shirley. Welcome, baby. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how delicate, that's how delicate everything is. And
Mm-hmm.
hey, we got to be on the lookout. It's not easy. So I don't know. I don't. And then of course there's the religious aspect of the
Mm-hmm.
thou shalt not kill. And at what point do you consider that child or a life or whatever? And so there are people, I think, pushing from a religious standpoint as well, saying that
You're
allowing
taking a
abortion,
life.
yeah, is
Once that
taking a
heart
life.
beats, it's going in there.
Right. Yes, Jane called me while I was on the road. Yes, Jane, I made it. Yes, I made it back. Thank God for small favors. But yeah, so then you have that aspect of it as well. It is it is very much a religious argument, but
Right.
and you know what else is confusing to me is that always the talk was about um there's too much, the population is out of control, and so Bill Gates and his cronies got together and figured out how they could reduce the population,
Populate.
and then they created COVID, and a bunch of people died from it and all of that kind of stuff. So if you don't want any more people, if you don't want the population to increase, then why would you change this law at this time? Oh, I don't know. I
Right,
think
because
somewhere
he
along
said
the way
that
you have
Planned
the power
Parenthood
to
and
run.
abortions was a part of their solution in depopulating the earth. So if
Yes,
that's a
and
part of the agenda, yeah, that's what I was saying. If it's a part of the agenda, then why are you switching it and reversing it and taking that away from the women to have the right to decide for themselves what they can and cannot do?
yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand that. And if you notice, most Planned Parenthoods are in the lower economic areas of a
Neighborhoods.
community. And
Hmm.
they're in the Black community. They wanted, us to have that option more than anybody else, because if they could get us to eliminate ourselves, then that would be half the problem as far as they're concerned. And they
Right.
push that.
Absolutely.
They push that. So make up your mind. Do you want population, or do you want population control? And is it good to think of it that way? So anybody who has joined us, you're welcome to make your comments about it. Are you in favor of Roe v. Wade, or are you happy that they're talking now and considering uh,
Reversing.
reversing it? Reversing
Hmm.
it. We'd like to know, ladies, especially what you think about that. That's important, because even though as mature women it might not affect us directly, we have younger children, male and female, who might find themselves in that predicament. So, what do you think, girlfriend Peggy? Should men be deciding what women do with their bodies?
No, I don't believe they should be. I think
Mm-mm.
that should be solely the decision and the right of a woman to decide and make that decision solely.
Yeah. Yes.
Because nine times out of 10, she is going to be the one that's going to be responsible for the baby, caring for the baby, physically, mentally, emotional, financially, and everything else. Because
And
nine times out of
everything
10,
else.
and we finding that the men are bailing out and leaving these women as single mothers to care for these children. So
Yeah.
it should be solely her decision.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I
I'm
I,
not
I
saying that he
definitely.
shouldn't have a say at all, but she should have the final say.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah, she makes a decision because the impact is on her body.
Yep.
You know, the impact is on her body. We're the ones whose body changes
And
drastically,
risk factor goes
and
up
the
when
risk.
she has that baby, that she could
Yes.
possibly die in the interim and leave the baby. The baby
Yeah.
can make it and she could not make it.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, you don't know until it all happens, if it's going to be good or not. All kind of
Right.
complications come up that affect
Yeah.
the health and outcome of the child and of the mother. So when you're
Right.
talking about somebody putting themselves in that kind of risk and danger, uh, they should have the right. They should have the right. So the ladies, let me see what Jane says. Jane says that she marched for Roe v. Wade, and and she said those coat hanger and back alley abortions were real.
Mm.
They were real.
Wow.
And listen, that was
And
terrible.
it's
Hold on,
probably still
I need
going on.
huh?
Say some of those probably still taking place today.
Yeah, somewhere, but
It's
we
so
certainly
scary to
don't want to
me.
start
I
that
couldn't.
again.
Oh God, that the thought of that is just.
The thought of that is horrifying. The part of that is horrifying.
Yes, it
Horrifying.
is.
Shirley says, when the thou shalt not kill commandment was given, children in the room were never a consideration.
Mm. Well, that's part of the argument now that they're saying that they have a right to protect the unborn child. They're fighting for the right to protect that unborn child versus the mother in a sense. But
Hey, um, look, I get it. I get it. But I still think that the mother, the person who's here now, is the most important one. Is the most important one. And if they're not going to give consideration for rape and incest and things of that nature, we're going to have to pay attention to who's voting so we can vote them out. Jane says, I went to private school, and some of the young ladies, if they had the money for exclusivity, if they had the money for exclusively, they didn't have abortions. They had a DNC. Yeah, that's the cute way of putting it. That's the
same thing,
politically,
evacuation. Yeah,
yeah.
they
It's
suck it out of there.
dilation and curtilage. I think that's what it stands for. Yeah, go in there and get everything out. Yeah. So if they could go to a private doctor and that type of thing, they didn't have to worry about the healthcare system. Then then they went, oh, they just had a DNC. They were just having a female problem, so they had a DNC. A child, you had an abortion.
It's the same thing. You extracted a baby, took
Yeah,
away that life.
yeah, you sure
It's
did.
no cute way to put it, and it's no shame. I mean, like I say, people have tough decisions to make. It's nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed of, because those are parts of decisions in life that you have to make as an adult. Because once you carrying a child, you have crossed over into adulthood. And they say babies having babies. Yeah, you may be 13, you may be 14, but you have it's some decisions that have to be made. And it's not child's play.
It isn't. And when you're 13 or 14, and that happens to you, the primary responsibility for care is going to fall on
On
the
the
parent
grandmother.
or
Right.
parents who are in the house.
Mm-hmm.
It is a major undertaking. It is nothing to be played with. So we're going to see how it all plays out, but I certainly hope. I mean, and the vote is so close, and it's a Democrat, I think, that went over to the Republican side to make the vote 49-51, and that's how close it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
just by that little bit. So
Right.
I, I'm hoping that they can do something different with that, and then we'll go from there. I know a lot of people. I don't know how many people in our audience watch or listen to or are familiar with Kevin Samuels. But Kevin Samuels was a YouTube content creator, image consultant, and most recently, I wouldn't necessarily say a relationship guru, but he was
Giving
giving
out
his
advice.
opinion. Huh?
Giving out advice to men and to women
Yeah, to men and
specifically.
women, about about
Dating
how
relationships. Yeah.
yeah, about, well, not about relationships, but about how to get the relationship
For
you
men.
want. So I don't he didn't really talk to people who were already in a relationship.
Right. Yeah.
He also had a Facebook following, a Facebook page where people got matched up. And so he was, most recently bragging. I don't know about bragging, but, talking about how many couples have met as a result of working with him and who he brought together and who have gotten married. And so that was something else that he was doing. But the thing about him was that he was very controversial because of his approach. He had an approach that some felt was harsh, and
Pompous,
huh?
pompous, misogynistic,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
rude.
Yep. Uh-huh.
As a matter of factually, like he just is like, if it felt like to me a lot of times when I watched him questioning women and asking questions of them, it was like he was just waiting to knock them down. It just reminded me of somebody was standing at the home plate with a bat, waiting for the pitcher to pitch the ball. And as soon as they pitch that ball, he whop. He's right there ready to just knock them down, knock them back.
Yeah, just knock him back. Well, he, in the last year, he one of his shows went viral, and he just really blew up. He just really blew up, and he was doing his thing. Then boom, pow! All of a sudden, last Friday, dropped dead from a heart attack. So they say,
And they said that what? He was with the woman and she was on top of him when he died. I have somebody that
I thought it was the opposite. I thought he fell on top of her.
well, maybe he fell on top of her, but somebody made a comment in on the page about that, and I wanted to share her comment. She said, "Let me put on my glasses so I can read and see what she said. I can get the whole thing." She said, "Oh my word, Kevin Samuels is dead. I didn't do it. Viagra did. Maybe Kevin, you should have stuck to women your own age. You said women over 40." Let me see if I can go. Oh, shoot. I got to open it up in Chrome or Facebook. Let me open it up in Facebook. Basically, she was saying that he should have taken his own advice. That he was reaching for, somebody that was way younger than and too hot to handle. And that's why he killed over with a heart attack.
He killed over with a heart attack.
Yeah, she says,
Because
"Oh
his
my word,
number was
Kevin
up.
Samuels is dead. I didn't do it. Viagra did it. Maybe Kevin, you should have stuck to women your own age. You said women over 40 were washed up. I guess the women were not the washed up ones. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that's close to your age." She said, "Rest in peace, my brother. So sad. You wanted young, sexy, and hot, alive anymore. You are not. Stop going near the fire if you can't handle the flames." And apparently you could not. You got burnt up in the kitchen. So, and she got the, oh, I don't know
And
if
so
it's
what?
karma.
Huh?
I don't know if you would call it karma. Karma.
No, there's no karma.
Okay,
Ain't no
well,
karma.
like he said, the attitude he
When you're
had was,
supposed to die, you die.
yeah, yeah,
When you're supposed to die, you die. No matter
yeah,
what's going
absolutely.
on.
Yeah.
Period.
And at one time there were, accusations and things saying that his camera flipped and it showed a man in his bed. Then there was, questions floating around as whether or not he was a gay male or
Yeah, you had
bisexual
that
male.
question. You
Hmm.
thought that of him, didn't you?
Well, when I saw the video flicker and flick and saw the reflection of the man in his
Before
bedroom
that.
sleep,
Before that.
before that,
You had
I had
that
my
opinion of him.
suspicions because
And
his
you're not alone.
mannerisms.
You're
Yeah,
not alone. I know a
yeah.
lot of people thought that, and they went there. Sometimes people go there because they feel that just by maybe the way he dressed. He was very meticulous in his dress. So what you want a person to be? Very meticulous in their dress, or a slob.
Very
you know,
meticulous, very tight pants, the pencil, very tight
that's the
fitting pants,
style.
short, a little high
That's
over
the
the ankles, kind of look
style.
was his style, yeah.
That's
But
the
like I said,
current
he may have
style.
had mannerisms, he may have had other things that made people believe that he may have had some sweetness to him. He had
Yeah,
something in his flavor.
people that's based on maybe how he dressed or acted or whatever. Some people came up with that. Some people thought that would think that about him because of good night, my darling. And Allison said she's here, Peggy.
Oh, good. I just read that was the young lady who just what I just read. That was
Oh,
something
okay.
she said. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But all of that is it really doesn't matter. And some people thought that about him because of the way he approached women. They felt like his approach was harsh because he didn't like women. And also it's from someone from the LGBT IA community said to me that they felt the same way. They felt like maybe he could have been because so many men who present the way he presented are closet, are hidden, that they're still in the closet. I don't know, and I don't
Well, we
care.
may never know, right?
I don't know, and I don't care because that has nothing to do with whether he's alive or dead, and it has nothing to do with the content of his show. His show
I
was
think if he's presenting and if he's presenting as a heterosexual male, is that what you call him? Or alpha male or whatever, and he's living a lie again, just like so many others can get out here and present and pretend to be one thing, and in actuality, in real life, they something else, and they live in a lie, and they in the closet, and they doing so many other things. I think it have a lot to do with him, with what's going on, what's being said, and it's all a part of the conversation. It's fair game.
yeah. Oh, it's definitely fair game, but you can't peg him as that because you don't know.
Well,
You
like I
could
say,
say,
it's
hey,
all speculation.
I feel like that might be, maybe that's why he talks to the women the way he does. Maybe, maybe not.
Some say he hate women. He dislike women. Maybe he was hurt by a woman. I know he was married twice, and I think he was in two failed marriages. And so maybe that's what he thought, or why he thought he was an expert at it and could give advice because he was through, went through two different marriages. Um,
Allison says that she thinks that he had been hurt in the past by a female. He comes off as very angry and hateful.
mhm. Well, why did we want to start doing our show to even begin with? Because I saw a video, I saw one of his shows, and the way he was talking to the young lady and interviewing her, and the questions he asked: "What size do you wear? How much do you weigh? How much money you make on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can't use 7. Beyonce is a 9, and Rihanna's a 10. What would you say you are? Between 1 to 10? It doesn't matter. If
Yes,
if a
it
man
does.
likes you and he finds you attractive, funny, or whatever he's drawn to you, you click, you have some things in common. That's what they're looking for, a connection.
No,
I
that's not
think.
what they come on the show and say that they're looking for, though. They don't say that. But the show that you're talking about is the show that sent him off viral. Okay, he
Okay.
was talking to a young woman, and you can go back. You can go on YouTube and look up Kevin Samuels, and or look up the one that went viral. But this young woman was a professional. She was a business owner, an entrepreneur. She said that for the last few years she had been making a six-figure income. She wanted a six-figure income making man. And
As
he
well, right.
said, he says, great. And then he says, on a scale of 1 to 10, see, this is what people didn't like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He like, just like you said, he would say on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank yourself? And you
Right.
can't use the number 7 because
Uh-huh.
people will kind of, they know that they feel like they're above average, but they might not feel like they're a 10. Okay. And then some people will say 10 and, they are raggedy as the day is long, but they think they're a 10. So you have a right to feel that
To
way.
feel like you are whatever you feel like you are. Right.
Exactly. All right. But what I feel like he did was shine the light on reality, for some people. It's just like if you're applying for a job, the job has qualifications. The job, requires that you have certain skills and that type of thing. And so if you go and you apply for it and you get there in the interview and they say, well, you're lacking a few things, I don't know. Here's what you would need to do to get yourself up to speed to qualify for this job. And I think what he was doing is something similar, is saying, hey, if you want all of these things, these are some of the things you need to do, be, and have in order to be in that category, which is not to say that there are not exceptions to the rule all the time. But so he says to her, on a scale of 1 to 10, and I think she gave herself a 6. He says, what do you look like fresh out the shower? No weave, no makeup, no nothing. Judge yourself, rank yourself based on that. And then the other thing that women didn't like at all that he did is he goes, oh, okay, you want all of that? They would run down the list of things that they wanted. And he says, oh, is that what you want? Well, what's your dress size? And they would say a dress size. Now, I don't know if you watched it as much as I did, but I watched him a lot, and they lie one after the other. These women would come on, wanting to get in and engage with him, knowing how the show operates, and then they would lie. They lied. They couldn't answer the question honestly. Sometimes they would lie about their age. And then when he asked them about things that happened chronologically, like how long did you date somebody and when did this happen or that happen, the math would be terribly off because they lied so much. And so they lie about their dress size and they go, I wear size 8. And he goes, great. He says, how much did you weigh the last time you weighed yourself? And then she says, 190 pounds. Well, I don't know how many 190-pound. And he go, 190 pounds. How tall are you? I'm 5'2". Well, if you're 5'2" and you weigh 190 pounds, you probably don't wear a size 8 dress. But it's okay. We'll let you have that.
Yeah, but it's not so matter of fact that he would say these things. He said them with the attitude. He said it with
he could.
Joy. I mean, he cut them down. It wasn't no smooth.
No, it wasn't. And so if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't want to be treated that way, then don't call up there. Those women called up there asking for his advice, knowing what he's going to ask you. Knowing what he's going to ask you.
Knowing that he was going to have the laughing,
be nice.
Knowing that he was going to have the background noise going, and once they started talking, he was going to play music, and he was going to ignore them and have them on screen talking like they talking to themselves like they crazy, while he do something else and play the music and have all these other things going on.
Yep.
Just have you on there looking crazy. Yeah.
Right. So don't call in if you don't want to be in, if you don't want to be in that number. Don't call in.
And then what was the thing that set it off that he said to the lady?
Huh?
After he asked about how many baby daddies you got and how many children
and she had a child. And so, and so he goes, okay, well, you have a child. So you marry this, when you get married, how many, once you marry this man, how many children do you want to have? Do you want to work after you start having children? And they come on there and they say, no, I don't want to do no significant work. Or I'll contribute 20% to the household, once I get married. And he goes, well, how much money is a man going to have to earn to take care of you, the child you already have, or children, and then maybe get a child from you himself? They had no idea. No, I never heard any of them accurately say how much money it takes to run a household with 4 or 5 people in it. They come in there with Cinderella dreams and fairy tale expectations. And then when he holds the mirror up to them and shows them, how off that is, then folks want to get mad, because they want him to say it a particular way, or they want to be kinder. They want you to be kinder or gentler. He's not a therapist. He doesn't have to be kind and gentle. He was doing a show, and I dare say that he would get 1.4 million followers on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot if he was acting like Grandpa Samuels instead of the Godfather.
Instead of Kitten Heels.
Yeah.
And my thing was, I don't care about all that. At the end of the day, again, who are you to say somebody's going to die old and alone? Because you're not the soothsayer of time. You don't read people's future. You don't know what God has for them or who he has for them. And I don't feel like I say, who are you to say that like you got the given right, even though they calling in for advice to tell them they're going to die old and alone?
Because
Party ain't one.
Yeah, because the statistics,
you don't know that. He's just thinking. That's his statistics. That's his thought, his mindset. You don't know what I'm gonna die of, or who I'm gonna die with.
No, but but it's out there. The numbers are out there. What he's saying is, if you don't, if you don't do certain things, if you don't get it together, then you need to, plan to buy a dog and die alone. And so what? So he says that. That doesn't make it so. It doesn't, just because he says it. Allison says, what does dress size or looks have to do with anything? It's the character of a person. Well, of course it is.
No, but he made it seem like because you wasn't a size 2, 4, 6, or 8, that if you was a 14 or 24, you wasn't gonna get a 6-figure income man. That's just out of the men like big full figure women with all kind of hips and dips and rolls and whatever. No, I disagree.
Did Barack Obama have him that? No, he didn't.
Barack Obama,
we're not saying that.
They was in their teenage years, young 20s.
Yeah, nobody is saying that men don't like full-figured women.
But they're just not marrying them. They're just not marrying full-figured women.
He's saying that a man who falls in the 1% income bracket, who is making a high 6-figure salary, more than likely is not going in that direction.
Okay, well, that's what he's saying. That's what he thinks. But
it's true. You see, I got 3 sons. I have 3 sons.
Beautiful brides out there marrying men. I say, I believe we probably can pull up quite a few bridal pictures of full-figured, thick, delicious women getting married to men that makes 6 income figures in
life. Find them.
No, they out there. I'm sure they out there. I've seen them.
Find them. Nobody is saying that it's impossible or that it doesn't happen. They're not saying, and nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. We know that happens. Does it happen in mass? All right. Somebody said he has to do what has to do
with the expectations of having high dollars.
The expectations of having a high dollar man when these men look for a certain type.
Young, beautiful, childbearing, like you know.
He said, somebody says, what makes somebody high value? Okay. What's high value to you and what's high value to another person, it varies from person to person, but this was his definition of high value. It's a high income earning man who is in a position that you know exactly what he does when he states what his position or his business is, that he is highly respected among his peers. I know those were 3 things. There might have been some more. So a high value man is not necessarily exclusively somebody who makes a lot of money. We know a lot of men who make a lot of money who are pieces of crap. they don't treat anybody good. They don't treat their skinny wives good. They don't treat their children good. They don't treat their employees right. They're not kind to people. They are crap, and they have a lot of money. That's not what makes you high value. What makes you high value is your character. And when somebody says, "Oh, he owns, all of the car dealerships," or whatever, he's the director of a hospital. When they state who they are, you know who they are and what they're about. So that was some of what his definition of high value meant.
He created that phrase, didn't he?
No,
he didn't come out with that. Okay.
But he made it popular. Allison says, money. No, it's like I just explained, it's not money. That does not make you high value. We agree with you. I do. You could be the richest man in the world and be a damn jerk, and that's exactly right. So it's more than that. It has a lot to do with your character and position and how other people regard you. Because see, other people have to regard you as a high value man or woman.
You remember?
I remember the movie Temptation. Who was
the high value man in that movie?
I don't know.
Allison, you're gonna have to tell us the answer, baby.
Hey, Gerald, welcome to the show.
Hey,
he says that because he knows women dog out a man's character and physical appearance all the time. Thank you, Gerald, for that. That's a good reminder. And so what he says is women come along just like that woman. I want a high value. I want a man that makes six figures. I want him to be handsome. I want him to be sexy. I want him to be funny. I want him to be kind. I want him to be fit. I want him to be fine. I want him to be well dressed. Women have all of these well endowed, rundown of what they want the man to be. But when and critique men who ain't that. Oh, child, he ain't shit. He live with his mama. Oh, he ain't even got no car, or all of that kind of stuff. And he can't even dress. And then when you tell the women what the men are looking for, then they get mad. And all he was doing is saying what the men are looking for, and that you need to look for a man early on in life. Yeah, men do. That's right. Men do the same thing. They do. Men will look at you and they'll make a judgment call men are visual. The first thing a man looks at is your body. First thing. That's what he don't know you. That's the first thing he's attracted to. And so what he's saying is, if you want to run in this particular crowd, if that's the type of man you're looking for, then know that he's looking for a younger woman, someone who he can have a family with, preferably somebody who doesn't already have children, because he doesn't want to have to raise or deal with or take care of, another man's child. He wants a woman that's fit. Feminine, beautiful, and intelligent is what he referred to the women as, the FBI. That's what men are looking for. Women who are feminine, beautiful, and intelligent. Not women who sound like men. Not women who want to cuss you out and get in your face and do all of that. That's not appealing. They need you to be feminine, beautiful, and intelligent so that you can run in the circles that they run in, and that he won't have to be embarrassed about being with you or having you. J.E. says that the pretty girls go for the high value men. The high value men go for the pretty girls. They both are being validated. Kevin Samuels telling them to stop dreaming that a guy can have anything. Stop dreaming. A guy that can have anything would want the best. Why would he want an average woman? So he was telling these women to stop overlooking average men when you are an average woman. Basically, stay in your lane, and if you keep dreaming, you can end up dying alone.
Okay, I get that, because we talked about staying in your lane with the penis size. If you know that you enjoy a above average size penis, that's the 8 to 10 inches. Why are you over here with the 3 inches and the 4 inches? You know what size you want. You know what's going to satisfy you. You know what you like. You know what you're looking for. Why are you over here dealing with the 3 and the 4s if that's not what you really like and what you're interested? Stay in your lane. Get over in
And
the size 10 section.
yeah, Gerald says, and the women want the man to be tall, and so when a man came on there, and and the man said that oh, he weighed, that he's 5'5" and he weighed 250 pounds. And then Kevin said, oh man, you're fat, you're overweight. He says, do you have a big dick? And he says, well, man, I don't know. I'm not no Ron Jeremy. I ain't comparing myself to nobody. And he said, hey man, if you have a big dick or not. So he did the same thing to the men. He would say, hey, listen, if you're 5'5" and you living at home with your mama and you weigh 350 pounds, you're not going to get the model chick.
And you making 25,000 a year.
Right.
15.
All right. But like J.E. said, he's showing you're an average woman. And I've heard him do this with somebody. He asked them what their father did. How much money did your father make? Or what was your father's occupation? Okay. Mm-hmm. And so he said, when you say that you don't want an average income earning man, when most Black men make between $42,000 and $50,000 a year, when you say that those men are not good enough for you, you are insulting your own father. Your father who took care of your mother and you and raised you in a household. Now you're discounting him. How dare you? Allison says that her point is that why women and young girls are walking around here struggling with low self-esteem because of jerks like this. Their self-esteem is not low because of him. He don't even know them. And most of them don't know him. When they get to him, their self-esteem is already destroyed. And it was destroyed by other people long before Kevin Samuels came around and said anything. Okay. And then they come to him knowing that he's going to do that. Now he put on a show. So he didn't just talk to him, he did it. And sometimes if you watched how many people did it over and over again, you would see that they weren't getting it. So when you tell them real nice, then they don't get it. I didn't put this, let me get to some other people, but something you sent me is prove my point. She says, no, it is his disgusting delivery that he's rude and disrespectful. Yes, he was. And that's why God made multiple channels, that you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to support it. You don't have to be a part of it. There's no denying that to many people, he sounded crass and rude. And that's because these women come on there time after time after time, one behind the other, lying to him, lying to themselves. And no matter what you tell them, they try to tell you that it's something different. They don't notice that they don't know how much money it costs to do anything. They don't know what it takes to do nothing. They just want it. And so if you want to get it, then you need to know what it takes to make that happen. And he was just telling them what it takes to make that happen. She said that's his preference. Love has no boundaries. It's about pure, raw, natural connections. And he's talking about his preference and the preference of a lot of other men. And if all of them could have their preference, they would. But, a lot of them realize that they too have to move, stay in their lane. J.E. says, when men are telling you what men want, women should listen, that it's a cheat sheet. Men assess the situation and logically look at assets and liabilities, whereas women, live in a fantasy world. A man comes
and have like you say, have the visions and the dreams of the big house and picket white fence, and that Prince Charming is going to come riding through on the white horse to take care of her and ride into the sunset, and they're going to live happily ever after.
Right. And you're going to have the big, pretty house, and you're going to have the luxury cars, and your children are all going to wear designer clothes, and you are too. And, during the day, you're going to be going out shopping and tooling around and whatever. And, well, that can happen for some people, But Je, you're right. Women need to listen, and so he found that women weren't listening, and so when he would play those little special effects, that got your attention. Allison said, "Who defines average and not average, beautiful and not beautiful?" Well, he wasn't defining that. That's already been defined by society, and you yourself know what that is. Now, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So you meet somebody and he thinks you're beautiful. What anybody else thinks doesn't matter. But when you're going on and you're walking up to somebody and you say, "How do I rank? Tell me where I rank," then you get what you get.
Uh,
And Allison said he has no class. No, he doesn't, because he's dead. And
Stop it, girlfriend.
he's dead. He's got no class. What you mean class?
What
Fresh
she's
out of
saying is
class.
he had none. He
Yeah.
ain't got none now because
Yeah.
right, he is
Right.
dead with RIP. But
Yeah.
what she's saying is he didn't have none from day one.
Right. He had a style of people said the same thing about Howard Stern. There's some people on YouTube who are worse than him, but they haven't gone viral yet. She said, but he was not making it any better. You can lift people up with your words and still get your point across. Why break down someone who might already be broken? I don't know why he chose to do it the way he did. But see, everybody is not going to be nice. Everybody's not going to play nice with you. And
Well,
that's
again,
the
that was
beauty
his
of having
persona.
a
That
choice.
kind of went back into the type of show that he had that drew so many people to his channel. They was there for the smartness. They was there for the knockdown. They was there for the drag out. They was there for the punches and
Yeah.
you're gonna knock them down, but you're not gonna build them up. They was there for all that. So I mean, he had thousands and thousands. I think they
No,
said his net
million.
worth was anywhere between
What
four and two and
1.4
four
million.
$1 billion. Yeah, so he may not have
1.4
started off that
million
way.
followers on YouTube and 1.4 million or 1.2 million on Instagram. People were eating it up. Men
Yeah,
loved
so
it because he was speaking. He was saying what they think. He was saying what they say in the barbershop. That's what he was doing.
I know they say that his large numbers, his following were men that were young, between I guess 20 something and 34 years old, that were like seeking advice and wanted to know, and he was the go-to guy for them for that mate for that information. That's who they listened to. Like he was like was growing to be a god in a sense.
Yeah, well, he called himself the
They
Godfather.
was taking his they take his advice to heart. Whatever
Yeah,
he said, it was word.
yeah. JE says that some of the sisters require a lot of patience. He was nice at first, and I saw him be nice to people. I saw him be sweet to different ones along the way. But they were not listening. Exactly. They wanted what they wanted a lot of times, and they tried to overtalk him. They weren't listening. And see, here's what women do. Then they start to not listen. They look off, they do something else, or they divert. They go, well, what about the men? Well, we're not talking about the men. We're talking about you. Okay. And they divert, and then they start to lie, and then they start to say, oh, that's why you gay. So they'll women will lie, divert, and then and try to incite something. They try to gaslight you by talking completely off the subject, and now they want to call you a name. They want to say that's why you ugly. That don't have nothing to do with the argument at all. You know what I'm saying? So but you're right. And then so he had to do what he had to do to make them see. Gerald says we just have to leave the emotions out of it and listen to the message for what the truth is it cuts like a knife, no matter how humble you come across.
Yeah, now that's good. That's good right there, what he just said. Because a lot of times emotions got in the way he said things, how he said it. But like you say, he holding up that mirror for them, and they not liking what they see in the mirror.
Basically. They don't like it. They don't like hearing that.
If you want this, you need to be here. You need to be somewhere in the vicinity of the area of what you're seeking as well. You got to do the work. You still got more work to put in to want and expect that type of man on that level.
Yes. Allison says it's the heart of a person. No one ranks me. I was ranked a queen when I came out of my mother. Yes, you were, most definitely. But when you call someone up and you ask them to rank you, you're going to get ranked. So we understand that completely. Ray says, what's up, Ray Marie? What's going on, baby? He says the bottom line is that Kevin kept it real and did not sugarcoat the facts. A lot of women missed the truth in the message because of his tone. Yeah. Many of them would try to deflect from the reality of what he was saying because of his delivery. Yeah, he was speaking facts and statistics that have shown from generation to generation of women ending up, like he said, being divorced and alone because they may not have wanted to change, listen, or be realistic, and therefore they pass this on to the next generation.
Now that was a well said paragraph right there. He said a mouthful in so many ways.
Yes, he did.
And a lot of times that's what ticked people off was his delivery. He absolutely right. They didn't want to hear it.
Right. And Allison says again, my creator ranks me. No human being defines my worth. And that's good. And it's true. But what Kevin was doing, he was telling you how you rank, for lack of a better word, in the dating, social, or sexual marketplace. There is a marketplace value. There is a marketplace, just like there's a marketplace value for a car or a house. There's a marketplace value associated with people who are looking to do certain things, or who are looking to operate in a certain class of people. There is a marketplace value. And other cultures in the Japanese culture, in the European cultures, people, women who are not married by the age of 25 or 27, they have a name that they call them. And we used to call you an old maid or a Spencer. And so he called them, if you're not married by the time you're 35, you're a leftover. Well, people didn't like that. They don't like that name calling. They were offended by that. But
party of one.
A party of one. But the statistics don't lie that as you go on, it gets more and more difficult to find a mate because the men in your age bracket are married. All right. And so that's what he's talking about, how important it is, if that's what you want, instead of taking so much time to get 3 PhDs, spend as much time on yourself and working to put yourself in a position to find this man you're looking for, and hurry up and get about it. If every woman takes their power back instead of giving it to a man, they would realize how powerful we really are. And but see, the thing about that, Allison, is that women need men and men need women. And we don't need to be talking about taking our power back. We need to be able to stand in our power side by side with this man, making him even more powerful. It's not about separating. We've been separated enough. We've been separated by slavery. We've been separated by segregation. We've been, we've been separated by color and ethnicity and size. And we got plenty of separation. What we need is to figure out how we can join together and bring back the family unit that we were. The number of Black families, full households, married people has gone down amongst African and the African American community has dropped considerably compared to what it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s. You know, the black family structure has been annihilated almost. And so what we need is to work to get back together. Gerald Edge says, I personally think it was needed in our community because we were missing the leadership in our communities, and we were on the defense with each other and nobody else, you know. And I don't know if he was working so hard to do whatever in the community. Some people said, oh, he took that stance and he could make money. Look, all of us want to make money. People, don't fool yourself. There's nobody on YouTube who is on YouTube without the hopes and goal and desire of being able to monetize their channel and make money. So don't be mad at him because he did that. Allison says, that's the mistake women are making. They should not have called him. I wanted a face-to-face sit down with him before his ass died. And you know, all due respect to you, Allison, there are a lot of women who felt like you did. And so that's why some of them would call him so they could have that face-to-face. He would chop them up into little tiny pieces and throw it out the window, because he's going to still ask you all of those basic questions. And
Ray said we didn't finish reading what he said.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see, Ray.
Thanks.
I read up, listen, or maybe I read up to generation, I thought. He didn't shoot, he was speaking facts. Statistics have shown from generation to generation that women end up, like he said, being divorced and alone because they may not have wanted to change. They don't want to change, they don't want to listen, and they don't want to be realistic. Therefore, they are passing this on to the next generation. If you said anything else, then it's not showing up on the screen for me. But you know, yes, I agree with you, and that's why he had to do it. I say this a lot, that as a young woman, that's what my mother said to me. She says, "Hey, don't get pregnant before you get married, because don't no man want no already made family." And that's what he was saying. Now we know people have families on a lot of different ways. People have families. Sometimes it's a young pregnancy that causes you to start your family. Sometimes, you know, people are in and out of relationships. You're in a relationship with somebody and you get pregnant and you don't believe in abortion, so you have the baby. There was
get married, you have another baby.
I heard another sister in a chat room, and she says, "Hey, my 23-year-old twin had 4 children." She said, "I didn't have any." And she died. She said, I had to take in all of those children. So I'm a single parent, but I'm not a single parent because I was irresponsible with my body. So women have, you know, become single parent. You get widowed, divorced. That can also make you a single parent, you know. So
also, women get in trouble and go to jail, and they have to leave their children with a family member, mom or grandmother, sister or auntie or whoever, take those kids in and keep them out of foster system. You become a mom, you become a parent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but he says, generally speaking, if you can avoid that, if that's not the case, then, you know, realize that it has an impact on your desirability. And men are funny. The men in the chat can tell you, men are funny. They can have children. They can have 5 children. They still looking for a woman that doesn't have any children. That's the woman they want to marry.
His thing was not so much that she didn't have any children, but that she didn't have 3 or 4 different children for 3 or 4 baby daddies.
Who said that?
You know, I said, I don't think Kevin Samuel had so much of a problem with them having children as he did questioning how many baby daddies you got. You got 3 children. And how many baby daddies you got out of them 3
even
children?
If you only had 1 baby daddy, he would say, why didn't you marry the father of your child?
Yeah, he would question that.
And then they would say, they would tell a lie, or whatever it was, and go on from there. He would question them about that. Yeah, and
Yes,
and
he would.
and no matter if you got them because you had to adopt them or you had them yourself, he's still saying it has an impact on on the
The future
relationship that
dating
you're
life.
looking for, because this man has to be able to make enough money to take care of you and your child. And if you all want to start a family too, he's got to consider that too. That's all he's saying. This is Gerald. He says, I personally think it was needed in our community. I think I read that already, because we're missing the leadership in our community, and folks were on the defense with each other, and nobody else. Allison says that's the mistake that women are making. They should not have called him, and how much she wanted to get with him. Girl, I'm telling you now, I would have paid money. I would have paid
Yeah, that was the fatal
money.
mistake they made calling him.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that was the fatal mistake they made calling him. And then got their ass chewed up out the sling.
Yeah, I would have paid money to see you go up against him. I would have, like a pay-per-view. I would have. She said he can kick rocks. I don't listen to people who treat other people like garbage. And that's the key. That's the key.
You got the choice yeah.
You have a choice. You don't have to listen. It's great. And yes, JE says there is a marketplace value, and often called the shelf life. There's a marketplace value. If I were to analyze myself, if I was to turn the mirror on myself, I have a lot of criticism about myself that say, I don't qualify to be with that kind of man. Another thing that he would point out about that. Oh, it slipped my mind just that quick. Oh, okay. He would say, at what level was the father of your child? What was he? Was he
his income?
What was his income? What was his profession? What did he do? And then he would tell them most of the time, you're not going to go any higher than that. Not that you can't, but that's pretty much, that's where you are.
That's your glass ceiling.
That's your ceiling. Okay. And in my case, that was true. I have never met a high value man. I've never dated a high value man. I don't know any men that make no $500,000 a year, three or four. I don't travel in that class of people. I don't know them. All the men that I've ever dated have been men who had a college degree, like my former husband, or less. So when he said that, I'm thinking, that's, pretty much wherever your parents were, or wherever that man that you choose to marry or have a baby from, if you think about your dating history, what was it? Did that man come along right about there at that level? Then, then that's where you are. Gerald says, exactly. Well said. I don't know who he's talking about, but we'll receive it.
You talk about what you just finished saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there you go. So I don't look. I fall into that category. I fall into that category, and I thought, okay, yeah, well, there you go. JE says they were offended by him saying leftover, and that may sound bad, but the truth, honestly, when I see a woman at the stated age and they are not married, I wonder what's wrong with them. Reason being, if you are a pretty woman, you can get married. just because of that. There's countless women that are married that got rings with no merit just because they're pretty.
Well, like I said, women have been married. They've been in 12 and 14-year relationships. They've had their children. And a lot of these single women that are of older age, that are beautiful women, well educated, make money, they bosses, and a whole lot of other things that they have working for them, going for them. They are single not because they can't get married. They choose they haven't met their ideal partner, and they're not married, or they may, some of them may choose not to ever get married again, but they're still looking for a life partner. Sometimes life partners doesn't mean getting married. You know, that's forming that relationship bond. We're gonna do some things together, we're gonna live together, but we just not gonna put it on paper. Whatever it is you're looking for. Everybody not looking to get married again because they don't feel like they have to be married in order to be considered complete. You know, a lot of women feel they're complete without being married, without having a man. It doesn't take all that to feel like you're a whole person. And they're perfectly happy and content being single.
So they say.
So they say.
So they say. I don't know if I believe it completely, but you know, his audience, he was geared towards younger people. He was trying to tell women in their 20s, you know, that's when you need to be concentrating on getting a man. And we know that. You know, me personally, I had it set in my mind that I was going to go to college, that I was going to find my husband there, and that I was going to be married by the time I was 25. And I did all of those things. And then I would, you know, I would get married, I would get the house, I'd have the children. And I did it like that. And that's what he's telling them that, you know, you need to do. And they go, oh, well, I'm concentrating on me. I'm concentrating on my career. And they do all of those things to boss up and go, well, you know, I make and find only to find out that those things are not what's important to a man. And now here you come with all of your attitude and you're bossing up, and now you're not, you might be beautiful and intelligent, but you're not feminine. And so that's a turnoff. He's just trying to tell them where the pitfalls are and how you need to hurry up and get yourself together so that you can marry this person you want to marry, and here's what you need to do it. And just because you know, he came off crass, you know, a lot of people didn't like him, but obviously more liked him than not. Je said, huh?
I said you liked him.
I liked him very much.
You did.
Okay. I did.
Okay.
I liked the show. I liked him, you know, because I felt like he was telling the truth. You know, it wasn't a lie. You know, and it's his opinion, but it's the truth. He told, oh, J.E. says he told many truths. Men don't care about how much money you make. It's more like, what value can you bring to my life? Can you be a helpmate? Can we build together, etc.? A lot of the ones who don't want to change, the ones that don't want to change, they're the ones that are mad. The ones who get mad are the ones who he's talking about. And a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. And so you're not friendly, you're not cooperative, and they get real hung up on that word submit. Oh, I don't want to submit to no man. I'm not submitting to a man. Well, that's what being a helpmate is.
And like I said, women don't have problems submitting to men that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's not about just submitting for the heck of it. It's that you have a loyal, faithful, committed, hardworking man that's by your side, helping you build and nurture and take care of your family. And you work together with him, and you're going to assist him in any way, in every way possible. Yes. But like you say, I have a problem saying I'm going to submit to somebody and you lead me down a dead end highway. And I'm ending up I'm ending up in the dead end road with no lights and some rocks, looking down at a damn, you know, no.
An abyss, right?
Yeah, looking at a dark abyss. I'm not submitting. I'm going to make up my mind, and I'm going to take this show a different direction. I'm going over here. You can keep going that way. I'm going this way.
Yep. Yeah. We will submit to the right person for the right reason. Allison says, I know people who are virgins waiting on God for their husband. Are you saying a 20-year-old beautiful woman who had sex with 300 men has more value than a 40-year-old virgin waiting on God? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. Gerald Edge says that's exactly how the enemy is winning, through our divisions. One of the greatest tricks the enemy put into our community and for decades is the strong Black woman, and you don't need a man. Women saying, oh, I'm a strong Black woman, I don't need a man. And a lot of that came along with public aid and assistance, because in order to get welfare, you couldn't have a man in the household. And so that impacted us negatively in a big way. Even if we take marriage out, where is their lifelong partner? That whole I don't need a man business is partially a byproduct of the feminist movement. Such is why I agree with the ideology of womenist and not feminists. Go ahead, get educated, get the job you earn, vote, etc., but stay in a feminine form.
Well, a part of that is, like I say, women being alpha, female, and all that other stuff is because, again, a lot of women have watched their mothers struggle and be single parents. They have watched their mothers overcome and raise children alone. They take on that. They take on, if my mom can do it, I can do it too. And they are forced into a role of singleness with children, of being a single parent with children, because oftentimes we know relationships don't always work out. The men walk away for whatever reason, you don't get along or whatever the case. And so you have to take on that strength that I got to get it done. I got to make this happen for my kids, whether I got a man by my side helping me get it done or not. By the grace of God and the strength of God, it's going to get done. We got to get from point A to point Z. We got to get here by the hook or by the crook. We got to get where we got to go. And so they're not dependent and saying that they have to have a man in order for this to happen.
Because you can't, because you don't have one.
Right.
And so, like you say, you have to make it happen.
Right. I was in a 14-year relationship, married for 12 years, had my 2 children with my husband. Had my first child at 30, the second one at 31. The marriage lasted another 4 or 5 years. By 05, I found myself a single mother of 2. And I have raised my kids from that time to now. My kids are now 30 and 29 years old. And I've been a single mom. I've dated a few times here and there within the span of time, but I worked 2 jobs at times. I worked 1 job. I started my own business. I did what I needed to do to raise these kids and keep them stable. My thing was I had to keep stability for these kids, and I've been in this home for over 22 years by the grace of God. And I have not had a man in here to help me do that. So therefore, I have to be a strong woman. I had to be. You don't have a choice sometimes.
No, you don't.
You don't have a choice. So
Allison
what are you going to do in the meantime when the right man is not coming along? You got to know that, hey, for me, I came into this world alone. I'm going to die alone. If God graced me with a good man in my life that's going to be here, that's going to stick around, that's going to stay by my side, that we can make things work, get married again or whatever, I'm open to the situation, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if I end up a party of one. I'm not going to be heartbroken. I'm good, and I love men and I want a man. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not desperate. I'm not trying to just go for any old thing. Been there, done that. I'm not doing that no more. I'd rather just do my thing and keep in this race and keep it steady and keep it strong and do what I need to do. Keep my head up and keep going. Because sometimes, like I say, these relationships ain't all they cracked up to be. They start off wonderful. Like I say, they have their mask on, they have their jewels and they fine cars and shoes, and they're making this big money, but they got all string of women behind them, string of children behind them. They got faults and flaws just like the women do. So I mean, being strong is being strong, whether you're male or female.
Yep. Allison said, you know, she could have got the hold to Kevin, she would have tore him up. Water under the bridge now. But
You won't get a chance now, baby.
Said, I promise you that. I promise you, I would have tore his ass up. Tore it up.
And she would have. I'm a vouch for her. She would have.
Yeah,
that sister right there. When you talk about a poet, this young lady right here, Allison, can write her ass off. Okay, excuse the French, but this sister, we shared poems before, back and forth with each other, and she got some good stuff. She got some good stuff. We got to have her on one day to share some of her poetry.
All right, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Tiki says he needs to ask men the same question. Why do men have so many different baby mamas? It don't matter. See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter.
To some women, it does.
To some women, it
does.
You
asking?
And so, and you know what? I think when he first started out, he did all of those things. You know, you know, because he started out critiquing the men. He did that for years. You know, he didn't just come on YouTube a year ago and become an overnight sensation.
Right.
He's been
on YouTube, I think he's been on for 10 years.
10 years. And, you know, he started off doing some imaging things, and then he started off working on the men and helping them and critiquing the men and doing the same thing to the men. So he's done that to the men, but nobody got in an uproar until he started doing it to the women.
And that's when he started popping off.
Yeah.
The numbers, them followers, they started.
Once he told that young lady who said she wanted a high value man, and he said, you know, you got this going on, that, you know, that going on. He says, ma'am, you're average at best. And if you don't change your attitude, you're gonna die alone.
Woo.
Just because he said that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
Because everybody has the ability to create whatever life they want. They have the power to design and find the exact person that they want, Kevin Samuels or not. Period. You know, so he said it. So you don't have to consume that. It doesn't make it so.
Don't make it so. It damn sure didn't make it so to me.
Allison said that she says, huh?
I said, yeah, he said it, and the damn show made me highly ticked.
Yeah, and that's the reason
why who made him God? Who died and left him in charge to say what heaven and hell he got to put me in? That he gonna say I'm gonna die, and if I do,
everybody dies alone. Everybody dies alone. But what he mean, he meant without a mate or without somebody who loves you. Yeah. But what he's saying is the probability is high that it'll happen. You know, he's not. It's just the statistics are there that show that. But just because he says it doesn't mean that it's true for you. You are in charge of yourself. You create your world. Everything that you have, you know, or do is something that you created.
Allison says she need a platform to address these men properly.
I
encourage you to get one. Yeah,
get one.
Start a channel. Yeah, come on.
Start a channel. Do it. What you mean you need it? Get it. It's right here. It's right here for you. Go to YouTube and sign up and get yourself a channel and start talking to them.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop you. And you know what the beauty of it is? You get to say whatever you want to say about a man. Whatever you want to say. You get to say, how tall are you? How much money do you make? How do you dress? What's your education? What's your, you know, what kind of car do you drive? Where do you live? What kind of house do you have? If you met a woman, you know, what home would you bring her to? You get to say all of that. You get to say, what's your penis size? You know, you get to do all of those. You get to tell them, hey man, you know, you too fat. Nobody, can you find your own penis under all of that belly, sir? You know, if that's what you want to do, you can do it. You can do it and build up the men and the women, or you can do it and tear them down. It's yours to do as you please. And then people will follow you or they won't. They'll support you or they won't. You know, you can do it. Do it. We'll watch.
Go back to what Chris said. Go back to that previous statement.
I don't know what she meant when she said, excuse me. Any woman that feels they don't need a man hasn't realized that they are a woman yet.
And that's coming back, Chris.
Right. And I agree. Men need women, women need men. We need each other.
We need each other, exactly.
We need each other.
I don't know if that makes them not realize that what do you say? That makes them realize that you
haven't realized that you're a woman. If you think that you don't need a man, if you feel like I don't need a man,
right,
then that means you haven't realized that you're a woman yet. That's Chris's opinion.
Right. Okay, we respect that. We respect what Allison said, and Gerald and everybody that's on here joining us tonight in this conversation. It's been an awesome conversation tonight. Absolutely.
I'm sure Allison will tell me what she means by excuse me.
I'm sure.
I'm sure she'll let me know.
She's not short on words, believe that.
I know that. Who is? J.E. says the problem is women like their type, and the male that they want is not the man that they need. They will submit to Pookie. I know they submit to Pookie and Man, but but then here comes the good man, and she gives him grief. Women submit to their type. Huh?
I said she'll give him pure hell.
Pure hell. Because she ain't satisfied and she don't want him, and she thinks that she deserves better. But but she's short and fat with 5 kids, and and want to prance around like she's Beyonce, delusional, and giving people grief because she's mad with herself because she can't get the man she wants. She said she gives him grief. Women submit to their type. Women are bad pickers. The man, he's corny. The corny man is their type. He's hip, slick, and cool, and says all the good stuff that she likes to hear. So she goes off with him. But the corny man ain't their type. But he's the man that'll protect and provide.
Oh gosh.
What's funny?
Where's Ray Marine? You can't make this shit up.
Ray Marine in the building.
He didn't put it on the screen tonight. He always come through with it. You can't make this shit up. Where is he?
Oh, he said he went back and typed the continuation of what he was saying earlier. Okay, I'm gonna have to scroll back and get that. There's a lot of comments since then. So hold on, I'll try to get to it, Ray. I promise. J.E. says the problem. Oh, okay. So I said what he said. T says the women should have never called him if they didn't want the honest truth.
Yeah, I think they started learning that toward the end. They better,
I don't know.
Well, I think they were, like I said, a lot of gullible women, like I say, questioning and asking, and I don't know, certain things as a woman. By the time you get a certain age, mindset, you know what you want. You know some things. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really seeking the advice of somebody to tell you and validate you and tell you you're doing this right and you're doing that right, because that you're not gonna get that going to Kevin.
Right.
So they was definitely tuning into the wrong guy.
Allison says, "You go, girl." I think she was talking to you. Maybe I think that came up when you were talking about what you did as a single mother. To be sure,
right. My daughter does her hair, so she been to my home before, and like I say, I moved in this house in 96, 98, somewhere up in there, and I've been here ever since. But I think by the grace of God, yeah.
Yeah, J.E. says that it's understandable. Some women had to be the strong woman, but that's not everyone's story. But it seems now that everyone's story, and that is far from the truth, would suggest that no married men or women know that no man married women, nor were fathers to their children.
Read that again.
understandable. Some had to be. So what he's saying to you is,
Yeah.
what you did is understandable.
Right, right.
That some women had to be the strong woman, but
Uh-huh.
that's not everybody's story. But
Right.
it seems now that everyone's, I guess that it is everyone's story, and that it is far from the truth, and that it would suggest that no man married women, nor were fathers to their children. And yeah, and we know that, people get married and then they get divorced. You know, I I think Kim said she should do Jules. Yeah, so um Allison should come to Jules. Jules on Purpose. Okay. Jules on Purpose is our gathering of women. The luncheon is happening in Orlando on Saturday, May 21st. And we have wonderful guest speakers. It's an uplifting session, an empowerment type of session, luncheon, and also a place where women can network. There are going to be lots of vendors there, great businesses. Is beautiful. You can go to Eventbrite and get your tickets and join us on Saturday for Jules on Purpose. T says, keep in mind, not all women want to get married. And that's true. But the women who are calling him, let's get back to that. The women who called him, that's what they were looking for. Either that or they were trying to get him straight.
And they were looking for how to connect with their high value man.
Yes. That's what they were doing. JE said, our job here is to be fruitful and multiply. If you can afford children, have them. That's what's going to keep you on earth long after you're gone. Thank you, JE. Allison said that she is done. She don't want to talk to us no more. She says, I'm done. My blood pressure.
Thank you, girlfriend, for tuning in. She did tell me she was going to be here for the conversation, and she kept her word. She definitely a woman of word. Love you much, girlfriend. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes. And JE says every woman can have a man and every man can have a woman. There's enough people for everybody. Yes, there certainly are enough people for everybody.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like I said, that goes back to, do you just want a man? Just want a man for the sake of having, saying you got a man? Is a piece of man better than no man at all? I mean, different women have different mindsets. I don't want a man just for the sake of saying I got a man. Like I say, for people to look at me and feel like I'm whole or complete because I got a man, or like it's something wrong with me because I don't have a man. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. When one fall in here the right way and we get along and he like my ways and I can deal with his ways and he's good all the way good and I'm good all the way good. Because like I say, you can have some men that's good men. They're good people, good guys, but they lie, they cheat, they got some little ways about them that's not so good. So either you're a good man or you're not a good man. And women are not settling for in between. They want a good man because they feel like they're a good woman. They bring things to the table. They feel like they are the table, the window, walls, the ceiling, and the floor. They can buy the meal, make it, bring it up, fry it home, bring it in the pan. They can do all that. But like I say, they want a good man.
Yeah. For real. Allison said, listen, again, women don't need a man. Yes, you do. They need the right man, period.
A good man, right. Everybody not just looking for a man.
Right.
You want it right.
But listen,
he don't have to be perfect. He just needs to be perfect for me. That's my thing.
Right. So don't say you don't need him. You need him, but you need him to be a particular way. And that certainly is understandable.
Need him and I want him.
Uh-huh.
But he gonna be right. He gonna have to be right. He gonna have to be the way he need to be.
Exactly. And Gerald says what is called rude or negative might have been motivation for somebody to get it together. Okay. You know what? I had issues today, and I didn't get something put into the system that I wanted to put up. And Peggy, it was a photo, that you sent me of a young lady on social media. And she it was, you know, a sister, you know, a black woman. She had long blonde, a long blonde wig or weave on. She had on a white crop top.
Let me
All
see
of
if I can find it. I think I sent it to you a messenger.
yeah, you did. If I could, you know, you can see if you can find it. I don't know where you sent it to me, but anyway, and her midriff was out. She had a big fat roll around her middle. Then she had on some pink jeans. Okay, she had on some pink jeans. They were away from her waist. She didn't have on a belt. She just had on the pants. She had on some shoes, and she posted the picture. And one after the other, one woman after the other said, "Oh, you hot. Oh, you fly. Oh, you gorgeous. Oh, you beautiful." Everybody was saying how fine, how beautiful she looked, everything. And why did you send me that picture?
I sent you that picture to say she was a hot mess and she had nobody in her circle that could be honest with her and tell her, baby, that is not working for you.
That is not working
That
for you.
long blonde wig you got on, you need to take that off and throw it in the garbage can. I'm so sorry.
I'm
Some
so
people could
sorry.
wear the hell out of some colors and some people can't. Point blank, period. And you need to know for yourself when you looking good and when you wearing a wig and when a wig wearing you. I think that's why I sent
Nobody
it to you.
told her that. And you
Yeah.
think if somebody would have said, you know, sweetheart, you know, you might look a little, you might look even prettier if you wore this hairstyle instead of that one, and maybe put on a blouse that does this and, you know, and covers up your middle, and you can wear a nice little waist trainer or something and cinch that in, and then you get some pants. You listen, I've been fat and funny shaped all my life. Okay, but you have to know what fits, flatters, and forgives. You have to know what looks good on you and what complements the body that you have.
The
And
situation access, right.
but you see, nobody. She's like the emperor who had on no clothes. Nobody told her you look a hot mess. You look terrible. But Kevin comes along and tells you that, and you don't you know. He's crass. Oh, he's mean. Oh, he's rude. Yeah. Don't forget about the woman that accepts the ass weapons. I don't know what that means. You have to explain that, Gerald. But you see what I mean? But it's the same thing. So he comes along and he gives a critique, and folks don't like it because it ain't delivered the way they want it to be. Penis size is a common thing being spoken, but after a certain age, sex shouldn't be a big factor because there will be a time when the penis don't work. Maybe, perhaps not necessarily, that doesn't work anymore, and the vagina dries up. Oh, praise God in heaven. I hope not ever, not ever, not ever in this case. Please, God, do not let my
And
coach.
there's always moisture and lubricant for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. You can always buy you something over the counter. Vaginas dry up. It's about compatibility and growing old together. I'm past good vagina because that doesn't make for a good relationship, nor someone I can grow old with. And you're absolutely right, J.E. Um, and 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 that's where we're coming from as more mature people. But we have to remember the demographic for the person who we are speaking of was younger people.
And like I say, you got asexual people. People don't care about sex. It's not what's important to them. And when you, a lot of times, men are older than women. When you're dealing with a man that's 6, 7, 8 years older than you are, you still kind of in your prime. You still excited and interested in sex and having sex. And the man is not, his penis is, he having problems. He having issues. It's not important to him right now. Yeah, but intimacy is intimacy. It doesn't mean sex. Sex is not intimacy. So you have to
Exactly.
find somebody who you are compatible with, who you have things in common. That's being compatible. who you like, who you know who you can fall in love with, who you adore, who you can just cuddle up with and rub and touch on and feel on throughout the day and night and cuddle up and have a good time, and you perfectly fine with that. It's not
Yes.
about sex. It's
No.
not about sex. It's not.
No.
Like I
And
said,
although that,
a person could have all the penis in the world, but like I said, when you talking to me sideways and wrong and disrespectful, ain't nothing happening. The bedroom gonna be cold as the ice castle. It's not
yeah.
happening. Ain't a darn thing going on. You and your money and everything you got going for you can just waltz on out the door. Bye bye. See
See
you.
you,
Have a
bye.
nice day, good man. Because you ain't good enough when for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but as we mature, those things happen, and you do want somebody who, even when you're healthy and capable of having sex, when the sex is over, you still want it to be somebody who you like to be around,
Be
who you
around
want to
and
do
you,
other
you
things
enjoy being
with,
with.
you
Exactly.
know. And there's those all of those other things that you do with them is what makes the sex good. And with as for as long as you can do it, and when you have that kind of relationship and connection with someone, then you're right, then the sex doesn't matter. um uh JE says, what do you look like over 35 still looking to base a relationship off of a good penis? I don't know that I don't know that that's the main issue. It was never in his conversation. um what do you look like over 35 trying to make a relationship off a good vagina? After a certain age, you should have had all of the good penis or vagina you can get, and it should be about something more.
Everybody is different. Everybody is different. Everybody's looking for something different. Like I said, there are women that don't give a hoot about sex and they in their early 30s. They in their 20s. They don't care about sex. Sex is not important. They looking for a man that can provide, take care, protect, and do all those other things and build with. They don't care about sex. But like I said, then you have some older women that are still sexually active, enjoy sex, enjoy having sex, and want a good sexual partner. That's part of the excitement. Just like a man like to look at a woman that's pretty and that's got the attributes that he like. The male attribute is one of the main things that we like about a male. It's his penis, and we can't
Mhm.
hide or cover that up. We cannot cover it up and act like it don't exist or it's not important. To some people, it is very important.
It's very important. It's very important to have, to start off with a good sexual connection. JE says miss women mislead women immensely. Girls, you don't need a man. And do you see a bunch of women not needing a man dancing together in bars, clubs, lounges, etc.? Unfortunately, sir, I do. I don't know when the last time you've been to a bar or a lounge, but take it from somebody who go to the bar and the lounge all the time. And I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. These women, they dancing with each other, dancing on each other, hunching on each other. Uh, listen, we still need a man.
And a lot of you're not seeing it because a lot of it is still in the closet and being hidden. They're not out in the open doing this. Okay, it's going on behind closed door. All that hunching and grinding on men and women on women. They're not doing it in the open. They're not doing it in public places per se. You
Yeah.
got clubs for that specifically that they can feel comfortable doing that. But like I said, they're not everywhere. That they're not everywhere.
Mm-mm. Again, he says women mislead each other greatly. And there's a saying that says single women keep single women single. Your single
Mm,
girlfriends keep you single.
mm.
With that mindset and attitude and all like that. Oh, girl, I don't need no man. And if he come up here and he don't do certain things, he can take his ass on. I know that's right, because I don't need him. Women mislead each other greatly. Girl, you don't need a man. And so you see groups of women dancing with each other and said and then he said, and then you see the lesbians. I don't know if he meant slide in or side in. Okay, whatever. Penis problems is the only
He said,
reason.
"Yeah, you see the lesbian sliding in the circle."
Yeah.
Okay.
Penis problems
Yeah.
is the only reason men don't make sex a big factor. Sex is great, but when you get older, it's not important as when you're younger.
Things change, of course.
To you,
To some people,
sir.
I mean, everybody's not the same.
To you, J.E.
It's a percentage of people for
To
everything.
me, it's important. He's, the, mm, he keep talking about old people and that that is not important.
What he does he consider old? Because old is supposed to be a state of mind, a state of being. I mean,
Yeah. Some
like I
men just
say,
tell women what they want to hear just to hit, just to add to that example you mentioned earlier. But women will lie to their female friends as well. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. I got to get back and see what Ray Marine said. I don't want him to feel like that I wouldn't answer. Say Oh, here's the continuation. The
okay,
bottom line is that some women had fairy tale dreams on a cardboard box bed. Reality is reality. If my son or my daughter is a D and an F student, they can have a dream of attending Howard. However, that shit ain't gonna happen. That goes the same for some of the women that called into the show wanting a high value man. They did not have the damn grades.
okay, that's a good statement.
And I said the same thing. You're going for a job, their qualifications. And and a lot of people don't like to think about that there is a market value, but there's a sexual market, there's a dating marketing value um out there that you have. I gotta make sure um I don't want to miss anybody. Uh and Kim says that Allison needs to be a poet.
She is a poet. That's what I
Uh,
was just saying.
no,
Yes,
no, she doesn't know anything about Allison, or
she
she
came
thinks
in late.
she needs to be a poet at Jules on Purpose. Not that
Okay,
she
well,
needs to be a poet, but that
okay,
she needs to, uh,
I can give her a number.
be at Jules on Purpose.
She is,
I'm
yes, she
trying to
is
catch
a poet.
up with the comments. Um, I think I'm back up now. Oh, Allison said that's a whole other topic. I, I,
What?
I guess
Oh, the
about
sex part.
the sex part. Yep. And
Yeah,
she a toast to that. I'll take a sip of that martini. Um, JE says, right, you want somebody who you want to be around. The saying goes, after the nut, then what? Yay! Exactly. Something
yeah,
else has to be there. That's what I said. I
that's
agree with
right.
that completely.
Yep.
Um, I agree with that completely. But again, his thing was, you hungry?
It felt like something sweet.
Oh, okay. And but he was talking to younger women. A lot of
Yeah,
older women didn't call. We are in a completely different category from what he was talking about.
right.
But some things still apply.
Mm-hmm.
Some things still apply. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to be able to look at yourself and assess yourself. I would tell you sometimes, girlfriend Peggy, that based on some of my own personal situations, I did not feel qualified to date. That I think that as a woman, when you're going to go out into the dating world, there's certain things that you need to have in place. And I felt like there were things that I didn't have in place
Right.
that made me not um,
Quite
a
ready to date.
viable candidate to date.
Right.
But if you come along and I tell you about these things, I'm upfront with you. and you want to be with me anyway, and you decide to date me anyway, then it's all good. But to go out there hardcore on the dating scene, uh,
Yeah.
you- I didn't feel, I personally didn't feel that I was qualified to move in that way. And so you have to be able, you have to know yourself and be able to assess yourself accordingly. And
Right.
and it's different. It's different when we
For
get
everybody.
older.
Because, like I say, dating takes a lot of energy. I mean, you got to get dressed, you got to drive and meet a person somewhere. It's a process.
It's a process,
Yeah,
and you
you
have
got
to
to
take
have
a
the
lot of
energy to do all that
precaution.
dating and meeting and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that dating and meeting is, and then the talking to people and talking to different people on the phone, and all of that kind of stuff. It takes a lot of time. But all in all, how he died, whether a lot of people wanted to criticize his lifestyle and say nobody was coming to him for that. What his
How he
lifestyle
lived
was.
off cameras, how he lived. That ain't nobody business. Like you said,
No,
he's on there as a podcast doing his thing. He came on once or twice a week. I don't know how often he even came on the air. Was it once or twice a week or every day or every night? I don't know. But the man he was doing his thing. So my thing is rest in peace, my brother. He'll be missed by many.
I missed him. I was very sad. I was very shocked and sad. I didn't feel offended or by him. I didn't feel like he was talking about me. So what am I going to be offended for? But I like the entertainment value. And then it
Yeah,
was always, hearing the statistics, and I was just always mesmerized at the number of women that called him, just lined up to call him and speak to him in order to
again,
get that kind of treatment.
in order to get that treatment. Yeah, and they got the business. He definitely gave them, and that's when my heart went out to the women because he did them. It seemed like he was just doing them, just dragging them,
He,
and it was just so sad to watch.
because they were draggable, because they came there draggable. They came there not knowing
Allison said she
anything.
would love to have that one-on-one, face-to-face. You can have it. I wouldn't touch his show with a 10
I
foot
would
pole
I,
calling
I
him.
could care less. I don't need to get you straight. I'm not, and some of them would try to do that, and woo, they would catch it. They would
And they would
catch it.
catch it. Yep.
JE says Kevin Samuels talked to both at times. He had the older women from Facebook and the younger women from Instagram. And yes, there was a certain demographic, and that was late 20s to late 30s. Yep. And they were the ones who were, crawling around asking him questions. He says, I don't remember him saying, I am a high value man. No, he never said, I never heard him say that. He was an image consultant that dealt with high value men to do he dealt with high value men. He was able to, all right, so what he's saying is because Kevin serviced high value men, he knew what their mindset was. He knew what they talked about. He knew what they
Felt what they
said
were
to
looking for.
him
Yeah.
about what they wanted and what they were looking for.
Right.
um, my son is on a dating app, and he meets and talks to women, and the delusion is there. Okay, they are, a lot of they're delusional. So he said he was talking to this young lady. She has a full-time job, she has a child, and she has a dog. And he says, well, you got a lot going on. Where would I how would
Fit
I
in.
fit in? And she says, oh, I would make time for you. And he says, but you can't even talk to me on the phone without having to talk to this child or get the dog to stop doing something. We can't even have a one-on-one adult personal conversation without you having to handle those distractions. See, so she's thinking, oh, I can have, no, you can't. You ain't got time. JE says, I don't remember him saying, okay, I said that already. Allison says, what do you mean you don't feel qualified? That's what's going on with females in this day and age, a lack of self-love. You are overqualified, my dear. They are lucky to have you. Yes, now I feel that way about me as a person. Okay, about me as a person. Yes, they are lucky to be with me and to have my attention. There's some
because you
other
have the
areas.
qualities about yourself.
Yeah, the qualities about me,
there.
is a good thing to have. All right. But I personally I had some other things going on that made me,
Other issues that you don't feel like you where you need to be.
yeah, I don't feel like I'm where I need to be in certain in areas, and that made me hesitant to date. Ray says, I don't know why people try to change the narrative of what he was speaking on. Oh, I forgot. They did not want to hear the hard truth. No, they did not. They never did. They always
Right.
hope, because they would go and he would say, well, you wear she says, well, I have large breasts, and you haven't seen, and I'm smart, or I'm this, or I'm that, trying to deflect from what he says. He's just like, you still need to lose some weight. I don't care how large your breasts are, and whatever the truth was that he was delivering, they didn't like it. Here's what's not being said, says JE. Those women called, number one, because they needed guidance, or they thought they did. Number two, women may not like the truth, but they respect it, so they called him. They respect the truth, so they called him. Allison is funny. Allison was going to leave. Now she's back. You like Lil Kim. I was gone, but now I'm back with the jump off. She said, I will be 99 years old and I will still consider myself high value. And any man that is lucky enough to be in my presence has just gotten a gift. And it is absolutely true. The man who finds a wife finds a good thing. We are the gift. We are the present. And God made us to be the gift. So
you're right in her thinking.
Yeah, you're right in your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of women don't get whatever that was you got, Allison.
Right. Not
everybody however you were able to get that along the way, they missed out on that. For it's a shoe. I don't know. She just put a shoe.
Her shoes are one of a kind, like mine, I guess. Each and every one of our shoes are one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if wear it, she could be saying that too.
Huh?
She could be saying if the shoe fit, wear it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure she'll let us know what it is she's thinking and saying. Yeah, but so that thing about me, that's just a personal thing, and it's it has nothing to do with my physical body, and it has nothing to do with my value of myself, how I present myself, or what I want in a man. There's some other things that I personally need to have in order before I say I'm going online and I'm going to start trying to date. Yeah, and we do have to empower them, the women and the men both. And so so don't worry. I'm not feeling inadequate in any way. Trust me. And and I don't have to date. I'm good. I'm off the dating scene. Yeah, so that was that. But that's why we talked about Kevin. Some loved him, some hated him, some loved to hate him. I would never celebrate the death of a person from the standpoint of goodbye and good riddance. I would celebrate the passing on of the person because they get to return to bliss, to the beauty of not having a body. Because but they say when you're absent from the body, you're present with the Lord. Uh, Allison says the shoe means that I am all that, and and it has nothing to do with my looks. I'm a woman that knows her worth.
Very well said.
Very well said. And on that happy, joyous note, we bid you adieu. But it
Yes,
was
girlfriend. And I think we more than made up for our being late and not on schedule tonight. We did 2 hours and 4 minutes tonight.
okay.
And it
Wow.
was a great show. Yeah, thank everybody so much for joining us and joining the conversations with us.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy them every Wednesday night. I look forward to the conversation, and I hope
Mhm.
you do too. And we'll tune in with us next week as well.
Yes,
Do we
most
know?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got.
I had something in mind for us for next week. Um and there's some injustices that we need to talk about next week. Uh young thug and also uh
Oh, a story that happened.
the arresting of the man about feeling
Oh
on the
yeah, the
woman.
white woman said that he touched her butt
Yeah,
in the store somewhere. They ran back the tape and it showed that he did not. And they came in out of courtesy to the white woman. They arrested the man. Two black
they
officers came in and arrested him
and
out of
arrested the
courtesy.
black man.
They arrested the black man out of a courtesy to the white woman. Yes, we
Who ever
definitely
heard
got
of
to talk.
being arrested based on a courtesy?
Never heard of it in my life. And
So
like
we're
I
going to
say,
talk about that next week. And there's one other thing, but it all has to do with justice. Je says there's a difference in living yourself and thinking the sun rises and sets on you, and what we now see is people being self-obsessed, self-absorbed, self-centered, self-indulged, and selfish in the name of loving themselves. And I guess they call it I'm confident type of thing. And too much of that, too much selfishness can
going
be
on from
unattractive.
what he can say. Yeah, I understand that. I definitely feel him
Mhm.
on that. But you know, the
Thank
whole
you
thing
for
right
the
now is self love, self care, self love the skin you in, self confidence, self worth, know your value. That is the talk. That is what's happening. That is the awareness. So I mean, embracing yourself where you are, being aware of where you are, trying to do better, uh, bossing up, doing whatever it needs. Attaining your dreams, goals, walking in your purpose. All that is a part of the self. That's a part of the self. But
yes, it
I
is.
understand what he's saying about like you so focused and self-absorbed with yourself till you can't see or focus on a man or a relationship because you're too busy looking at how beautiful you are in the mirror. I kind of understand what he's
Uh-huh. I
saying.
feel
Mhm.
them on that. We want to thank all of the Raw Talkers for being in the virtual building tonight with us. You all were awesome. And pay attention for us. There is a very good possibility that we may have to change the night of the show because I keep getting conflicts on Wednesday night. And so I don't know. I'll just, we'll have to talk, girlfriend Peggy, and see.
Yeah, maybe we'll adjust the time. Maybe we'll make a time adjustment. Maybe we'll change the day because, like I say, we liable to pop in and go live anytime, late
Yeah.
night, early day, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
we try to be consistent. We try to, stay on track. We've been doing this a year and 5 months now. We started last year, January, really the year before 20. We started in 2020, December, but officially we launched, our show on January, first week in January, and we've been consistent and doing it ever since. So we a good 17 months in now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So
so it might be, you're right, it might be that I'll have to move it back to 10 o'clock instead of
mhm,
9 o'clock. Stick with Wednesday, but
mhm.
make it a
Maybe a
different
little
time.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a
so we
little
can toss
later.
that around. That's a good thing about being your own content creators. You can talk about anything we want to talk about. We can talk about it right here.
That's right. We can talk about it, and we can change the date, the time, the place, whatever we like, and go
come
from
on and
there.
join us. Come on through, run through.
Yeah, for
Meet us in the
sure, for
virtual
sure.
building.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please, if you're joining us on YouTube or not, please please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and comment, like, share, and hit the notification bell so that you know when Raw Talk is live. Good night, girlfriend Peggy.
Good night, girlfriend. Let this be.